Hello and welcome to another episode of The Lunch Line. We are back.
We're
We
back, baby.
are back. We told you we'd be taking a little break, and we did. Hope you are enjoying your summer. It's funny, we come back on a pretty momentous occasion for sports video game fans, as
Right.
one of the greatest franchises in sports game history has made its glorious return after like 10 years, even a little bit over 10 years. NCAA football is out today. And of course, it's on the new systems, which I don't have. So I will just be living vicariously through you. Do you already have it like downloaded and ready to go?
So I think I told you this that I literally said,
Oh, right. Okay.
well, no, not today. It was
Right.
before when I literally was so sick and tired of these, Microsoft and all this kind of stuff, basically screwing everybody over by saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make you buy the next gen stuff because all the games now you can't play on the Xbox One." And it's like, all right, well, I know my system's older, but at the same time, why should I have to pay and shell out all this money for a new system when it's giving me the exact same product? All this
Right.
is better graphics. Now, it's not like all this, because again, the 360, because I'm an Xbox guy, like the 360 was, ahead of its time and it was crazy. Then all of a sudden the Xbox One came out. Now all of a sudden they have Series X and S and all this kind of
They
crap.
got everything. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
to the point where it's like I kept getting all my friends saying like, "Well, you got to get the new gen," and I'm like, well, "I don't want the new gen." So of course, our friend Dan told me, "Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you can play NHL and do that with the Xbox One and cross-platform." And I'm like, "Okay, maybe I'll do that." So I bought the NHL game, and because I love NHL, and of course, you can't do that. And I was like, great. I've never played it once, and I wasted $60 on it.
Oh no.
So, anyways, I have it downloaded, which is actually pretty cool now because you can download the game
Yeah.
onto your system and without buying it. But obviously you can't play it, but you can download it ahead of time. So right when it becomes available or whatever,
Yeah.
you can purchase it and then play it immediately instead of having to purchase it and then have to wait, forever for it to download or whatever.
Right.
So I did download it to my console, just haven't played it yet.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that you'll be, and especially since you're still on break. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's going to be a lot of hours put in on that. Now, here's the question for you: Is are you going to jump in with Virginia Tech, or are you going to start with like a smaller school and work your way up? Like, what's kind of the game plan there?
So I'm definitely probably going to have like I don't know, maybe I'll do like a season with tech or something
Right.
like that,
Right.
just to kind of get my feet wet again. Because
Sure.
again, the game hasn't been around for like 11 years,
Right.
and I haven't been up to date with Madden or anything like that for the most part. I played Madden literally for the first time the other day in like maybe 6 years, and I was like, man, this is it's not that
It's
fun.
bad. I still get it every year, and like I regret it every year. Every year I
Right,
get it, I go, why did I? Because for me, it's always like I always get so into the mode of when a sports season comes up, and I'm like, so like when it's football time, I'm all about football, and so I got to play Madden because like it's football season. I'm all this stuff, and then I'll get Madden, and it's awful. Literally, the only sports
right,
game I play these days is MLB The Show because it really hasn't changed, and it's
yeah.
a good game, and so like I'll just continue just playing that year after year after year, and so that's what I'm playing these days. But now that everyone's going to be playing NCAA football, I might as well dust off the PS3 and go back and play the old NCAA football and pretend like I'm part of the group because
Right.
I'm telling you, everybody is playing it today. Like all the streamers and influencers and stuff. I mean, like you scroll through TikTok Live, it's all people playing NCAA
Right.
football.
I mean,
It's
'cause
it's crazy.
'cause that's the thing is I haven't played Madden in forever because I don't buy it anymore,
Right,
and when I played it the other day, I was like, "This kinda sucks," 'cause I think I got a deal on it, I got, like, for $20, something like that, and I was like, "Yeah,
right.
sure,
Got to
whatever,"
take that. Yeah,
and all of a sudden, I was like, "Man, this kinda blows," and I play, like, an exhibition, and it was just not fun,
yeah.
and because
That's
like
Madden for you.
because back in the day, it was cool, but again, the problem is, and I've always said this before, don't change things, add things. But the problem is they've gone on adding overload, where it's like, I mean, I remember back in like I think it was 2009 when they introduced like Pro Vision or
Yeah, QB
whatever,
Vision.
yeah,
Yeah.
QB Vision, and everyone hated that
Yeah,
because it's like
yeah, I didn't like
if
it.
you because your brain doesn't work like that.
No.
Your brain can't be looking for the open guy or where he's going to get open. Also, having to have your right side of the brain use the right joystick to highlight the
Yeah,
guy.
I'm
I'm
not
like,
actually Michael Vick. I'm a fat guy playing in my basement eating Cheetos. Like, I don't need
right.
to be like developing my QB vision skills, you know?
What's I'm saying
Uh,
is like I like the adding part, but add a feature here or there. That's why
right.
FIFA is so good because FIFA updates their graphics, updates their rosters, and they add maybe one or two cool things into the game or whatever
Yeah.
that you don't need to have to be still good at the game. And so I used to be a FIFA mark. Now I'm all about. I mean, I'm not now all about it. I'm all about it for like 4 years now. Is PGA 2K23.
Sure.
For golf and all that kind of stuff. I've gotten into Rainbow Six Siege
Yeah.
lately. So that game is that the game
That's
is tough.
over. That's over my head. I'm
That,
not
that,
play,
that-
I
that's
don't
tough
play
as
those
shit. I'm
ones.
telling you right now.
If I ever like, yeah, sure. Have I played Call of Duty before? Yeah, obviously. But
Right.
like, anytime you turn on one of those games, I'm like, all right, like, I'm the stereotypical like I'm dead in 5 seconds. Like you're playing these games and it's like I don't have the time to invest to get amazing at these shooting games. You know, like I just want to. I like those games. I like running around shooting people, but like I can't be like. You can't beat anybody when I play online. So I'm like, this is awful. So then I'm playing like the story
Yeah.
mode, and suddenly I'm in like World War II, and it's like, all right,
Well,
I'd
so
rather just strike
that's
out the side in MLB the Show.
that's the funny thing is like I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege. The problem is that it's not like Call of Duty. Now I used to play Rainbow Six Vegas back
Yeah, I remember that one.
a
Yeah,
long time, like in middle school. But the funny thing is because I coach baseball, a lot of these kids play Rainbow Six Siege. So it's
right.
like I'm like, oh yeah, I'll play with you or whatever. And all of a sudden it's like all these characters have like gadgets. Like, oh, this guy can throw a grenade that all of a
Oh, I
sudden
hate this
falls through
kind
the
of stuff.
floor and it explodes.
I hate
Like,
this stuff.
like, and it's so funny because again, I used to be really good at Call of Duty and stuff like that, and I just haven't kept up with it because I mean, obviously, when you get older, you don't have as much time.
Right.
But literally, I'm like, I don't know, understand how some of these games you sit there and all of a sudden this character, I mean, this one character, you throw this thing and it like makes this like hologram of the character and you run around, but you can't shoot anybody for scouting purposes. It's like I mean, holy shit. Like,
Jeez.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. I have to ask my buddies, I'm like, hey, what does this guy do? Like,
Yeah.
and it's like I want
Just
the
pressing buttons.
yeah, it's like, and I'm like, I'm a good sniper. I've always been a good sniper, and I'm like back in Halo 5, all that kind of stuff. And literally, I get like the guy that snipes, and I'm like, what's this guy do? And they said, not really anything. And I said, that's my guy.
That's my guy.
That's my guy.
Well, now and then also a lot of the video games these days too. It's like, well, if you pay money, you can get like so much better at the game. You can get all these crazy gadgets and all these crazy
Right.
guns, and you're like, suddenly you're spending like hundreds of dollars just
Yeah.
because you're like, I just want to keep up with like these good guys
Right.
that I'm playing online. It's crazy, and it's crazy because in the sports games they do that a lot too. The NBA 2K is notorious for the microtransactions,
Oh
where
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
you try to do like a my player career mode in NBA 2K, and like you spend the first like 8 months of your career at like a level 50 wearing like the same brown shirt and gray sweatpants because you can't afford to buy any other clothes in the game, and then like your guy the stupid letter grade you get during the game, and you make like 2 turnovers and it goes from like a B to like a D minus, and you're like, how I don't think it was worth that much to like turn over the ball. That game is so frustrating. That's
Right.
another one that I just like I can't stand. But no, all I want is I would love to play the new NCAA football game. I think I will eventually, at the end of the year. And then I was going to say that when we both are playing it, that might be an opportunity. Maybe we get a little stream going for the fans on the lunch
Ooh.
line and do a little online stream there. We'll see. We'll if we can figure out how to make that all work. I have no
Right.
idea. So
Well, I think that I can honestly, I can probably get especially because I mean, I need to make sure it's cross-platform. I believe it is,
it's
but
got to be these days. You
yeah,
know?
but it's like I think that because you know what the funny thing is that I got shamed for like a month ago. So when I started playing, Rainbow Six and all this other crap with these kids, um, you know, they're like, oh, he's playing on a TV, and they start laughing at me, and I'm like, what? Like, and they're like, you're not playing on a monitor. I'm like, okay, like they're all sitting at their own desk or some crap,
Yeah,
and
it's
they're
weird. I
with
don't know.
like a 25-inch monitor, and I'm sitting there on my couch with a 64-inch TV, and they're
Right.
all shaming me for it. They're with the lady in Game of Thrones with the bell, just
That's what the kids do, man.
atonement.
The kids all play, and a lot of them will like play on their computer. Like they'll use Steam or whatever, and like play. They won't even be using like an Xbox. They'll be like playing via like computer stuff, and it's
Right.
like I'm used to just play. I've got my console. I plug it into my TV. Hey, back in the day, it was the red, white, and blue cord or whatever, and you plug that in, and then I'm sitting there and I'm playing. I mean, that's how I play video games too. I sit right down here on my couch and put MLB The Show on this big TV, and I'm watching the strike zone up and close. From
you laugh because they're all sitting there, and of course they're like their face is 7 inches from the screen,
Right,
and,
right.
and it's like they're going blind, and I'm like, why are you shaming me for doing what you're supposed to do? I mean, the problem is I think streaming has gotten out of hand
Yeah.
recently because the sole fact that I think everyone's like, oh yeah, if Ninja does it, then I can do it.
Right,
It's
right.
like sweet. That makes all sense, but it's like, do I really want to be sitting in a chair on my desk to play?
No.
Now, if
No.
again, like you said, if we do a stream or something like that, now I can set up something where I can play on my TV and have like a nightstand in front of me or something like that. That's different. But at the same time, I wonder how we could do that. We'll have to think about that. But at the same
We'll
time,
figure it out.
it'll be fun to do because again, I'm down to play that game so much because it's so now. Granted, it is being released on Open Championship weekend, which I'm not too thrilled about because I'm just there watching golf. But at the same time, I'm letting the cash fly. But at the same time, I really want to play that game and get my feet wet again and then start doing connected franchises. Because, again, I will never forget this story where I've told it to you, I think, a million times, that I was in college my freshman year. And across the dorm across from me, it was a 3-person dorm. So it was like extra big. It was huge.
Right.
I've never seen a dorm that big. And basically, like 2 of the 3 guys were football players. So what happened is that they basically had NCAA. I think it was like, I don't know, it was like 2010 or something like that, whatever the hell it was at the time. And they all had SEC teams. So the best player, the best overall player, had like Vanderbilt, some crap team, and the worst player had Alabama.
Right.
So it'd be like easier for them to play. But they all had a connected franchise, like 8 guys, and they all had like a connected franchise, and it was a spectacle.
Right.
Like literally, like, oh, you have Mizzou playing, Auburn. Then you got John and Ethan. They all met there, and everyone's just watching the game. It was like a 10-person setup, and everyone's just watching them play and going nuts. I mean, it was nuts.
It's the best.
It's awesome.
the best. I mean, it's guys being dudes, and like
guys being dudes.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of guys in their 30s now are who were in their 20s or late teens or whatever when the first when the old NCAA football stopped being a thing, are now just getting this amazing dose of nostalgia of like playing this game in college, playing in high school, whatever it is. And so yeah, I'm excited about it. I'll be again hopefully later this year getting it and figuring all that stuff out because I do love me some college football because I've put in a lot of hours on the PS3 still to this day on the the college football game. I mean, I've got a franchise on there now where like I'm probably the greatest coach in NCAA football history at this point. My guys, every school I go to, it's like usually like first year is a rebuilding year, and then I win a title like the next year. So I've done that like to 6 different schools in the game. So I'm excited to see. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But I did want to. By the way, this is kind of like a free-flowing show today, folks. Just like a catch-up show. You're just kind of sitting in Mike and I's living room right now, just like listening to us have a conversation. Catching up.
We need to tell everybody exactly what's been going on recently because obviously you've had some things go on, obviously.
Sure.
Some bigger things than me. But at the same time, not weight-wise. Don't say anything, not weight. But
well, I do want to ask about that. So I'm right now. So I started. So I got the fattest I've ever been. I say that every time I do the show, but I was hitting numbies that I was like, I have not seen these numbies before, and so I did starting this month. have been doing some fasting here and there, like trying to
Right,
like
right.
skip some meals, and like I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's only the 15th, so I've only been doing it for a couple weeks, but I'm down like 4 or 5 pounds, something like that. So like I'm hoping I can get to like 10 by the end of the month. But yeah, I'll tell you though, it's as you know, it's not easy because during the week I find extremely easy to fast and eat healthy. But man, once it all starts with Friday night Chipotle, and then from there it's just a disaster. I fall off the wagon, if you will.
Hmm.
I mean, we're talking about donuts Sunday morning. We're talking about Wendy's for lunch. We're talking about pizza, Domino's for dinner. It's not a pretty scene over the weekend, but I'm hoping that I counteract it with those 4 or 5 days of good eating and fasting, and I should be
Right.
in good shape. We'll see. I don't know. It's gonna be rough.
Well, as I told you, uh, so recently, obviously, when one of our previous episodes, we're like, we got to get that Ozempic shot and all that kind of stuff.
Right, right, right.
So, and that was like a month, maybe 2 months ago or something like that. Because again, we've had a lot of stuff going on since our last episode, and again, we're still having a little bit of technical difficulties with this dumb laptop that I bought off of Amazon.
Sure.
It's on the second laptop I bought off of Amazon, which Jeff Bezos is really screwing me here. But at the same time. So I ended up saying, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go and go to this wellness clinic and see if I can get it, for cheap. And I went, and they basically asked me, a few questions or
I mean, they
whatever.
should have just looked at you, watch you walk in the door, and go, "Here you go, sir. Here's your form. Like you pass."
Dude,
It's like, take one
the
look at you.
the numbies for me have been exponentially high.
Yeah,
And it doesn't help that now I'm on summer break. Now, granted, I am golfing and stuff like that, so it's
yeah,
so it's
that's
a
good.
little
You're
different.
sweating it out.
But the problem is, I don't even know why, but I have never sweat so much in my life
Yeah,
than I have the last like 4 months.
right.
Like, dude, I'm walking around, and like last night, for instance, the Copa America, which we can get into it a little bit later
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
All that drama.
yeah.
So I went out to carpool, and I literally was like, for the first like 45 minutes I was there, I was sweating bullets the entire time. Granted, it wasn't that hot. Okay. First of all, it wasn't that hot. And they have AC, but even the AC wasn't pumping like crazy. It wasn't like an igloo in there or something. But I've never sat there and just
Oh
been like,
no.
oh my God, why am like, I just don't get it. Like, I'm sitting
Yeah,
there and
I've
I'm
been there.
sweating my ass off.
I've been there. And then the problem is too is once you start noticing it, you start sweating more because you're like,
Yeah.
I'm sweating a lot, and
I
like
was,
people are gonna like see me, and then you're like, then you start sweating more because you're like, oh my dude, trust me, like I've done that move, and like you start trying to find napkins maybe to wipe your
oh,
forehead
yeah.
off.
Oh, yeah.
I've done it where like so the one thing that's worked for me in that scenario is if you go to the bathroom and like splash some water on your face and like maybe and like go into one of the stalls honestly and just take toilet paper and just like wipe all the sweat off as much as you can and then like give yourself a second to chill. That sometimes works, but dude,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about where like you're just and then the worst is if especially if you're around people that are like in shape and like you're just the sweaty fat guy, it's a rough scene.
Well, it's like I don't understand what the real big issue is. Now, obviously the numbies are high, like we're talking about, but when you're looking at it, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now. Like, why am I sweating? It's like this happened to me back in high school too. So in high school, like I would be sitting there in class, and now
Yeah,
I wasn't sweating like crazy, but
right,
it's
right.
like I'd be like, why am I sweating right now? Like I'm just sitting
Yeah,
here, like I'm
I've
sitting
been
here.
there.
But I think
Been
I
there.
think also it's a mental thing. Like you said, once you're like, man, I'm sweating a little bit, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm still sweating, and
Dude,
then all of a sudden it just keeps going.
I was the guy who like I think it was like late middle school and then definitely some of high school where like I could not wear shirts that because like I'd get the pit sweats during the day, and then like by the time you're in like fifth period, you're like, dude, if I lift my arms, it's just all sweat down there, and so and it's gross, and like I remember having to be like, all right, I got to make sure I wear all dark clothes or like really really light clothes like white shirts or whatever because like it was uncontrollable, and I tried so many different things. This isn't an ad for anything because I don't even take this anymore, but there was like one product. It was called Sweat Block, and
Ah,
I remember it was like a little moist towelette that you would take in at night. You'd rub it underneath your armpits, and you'd let them air dry. and then, dude, that thing would make your like sweat glands
Like
like
cement.
dry up so much that like, dude, like you say it like, but it's true. It was literally like it would feel like it would just feel so dry under there.
Yeah.
Saved my freaking life.
I
It
had the
was
same
incredible.
thing. I got the same thing, but mine was called Certain Dry.
Oh yeah, no, I tried. See, I tried Certain Dry, and it didn't work for me. I know exactly what, because it's dry, DRI. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I used it. I used it as well. I think it worked for me somewhat, but then like, dude, I'll tell you, Sweat Block, that was the one that worked, and they still sell it nowadays. Like, I think I grew out of it because like I don't really get the pit sweats much, but I do sweat in general a lot. Like just like you're
now,
describing.
Yeah, but now it's like
Now it's everywhere.
yeah. But the thing about it is that I'm more so now like I don't care. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
impress people
Right,
with
right,
that. But at the same time, it's more of an annoyance now.
Oh, it's
'Cause
horrible.
You're sitting there, you're like, oh my god, like it's just like it, and I wear bandanas because my dad wore bandanas and all that stuff, and everyone knows the story. But those come in handy so well. Like I wore so many bandanas in Mexico, it was unbelievable.
Oh,
Like,
I bet.
I had to.
I bet. No, and so it's like a right. I will say summer is not good for the fat guys. It's really not good for us because like all the guys that are in shape are wearing like like open button like Hawaiian shirts, or they're
Yeah.
wearing like just like tight tight tees and all this sort of stuff, and like they're all just showing off their bodies. And us fat guys, like, this is where we really need to layer up if we can, and we can't because it's like 100 freaking degrees, and tomorrow it's supposed to be like 110 here, and it's like I can't leave my house. Like it's insane.
And that's the thing is I've always gone. So last year, I think it was last summer or something like that, maybe last spring, I ended up like literally investing in like Hawaiian shirts because first of all, I'm like I said, I'm getting a little older. All right, they're fashionable here and there or whatever. Like, who cares? I mean, like you said, all these guys that are in shape and all that stuff, they wear these type of shirts sometimes or whatever when they go out with like a chain or something like that on,
Right.
stupid thing on. And so I started wearing them because first of all, a lot of airflow. So it's nice.
Yeah, no, trust me, I've got quite a few now.
yeah.
I've been rocking them as well.
And so the best part about it is that like whenever I wear them, I'm just like, all right, cool, whatever. It's comfortable too for me at least. And overall, I can't do the oh, I'm gonna wear a nice button down anymore. I don't do that stuff anymore. I just can't. And it's like, first of all, I'm too old to care. I just don't care anymore. Right. But that's just my mantra in general for life. I don't care. Like it's like that's just how
with the button down, like your fat kind of like gets like cropped up in certain spots in the button down. Like maybe it's like if you got big man boobs, or you got like the fat like spilling over your belt, and you're just like, this is horrible. Like
what's weird is that, and of course, as you know this too, literally I can't stand when companies make their shirts run small.
Yeah.
Because literally, so golf season's approaching, right? Golf season's approaching, and we're trying to figure out our team gear and all that stuff. So we have 2 samples, right? And they gave me my size. I'm like, okay, whatever. I put it on. I felt like I was in a fucking cocoon. No. and I'm like, what the hell? Like, and the funny thing is, our golf shirts last year, I have the same size, and I wear those to go play golf. And they're the exact same size. But these 2 shirts, I feel like I'm a butterfly ready to come out. And I'm like, They're
trying to get rid of us fat guys. They're like, we're not making stuff for you guys anymore. You're gonna have to
Especially
just adapt
Nike.
or deal with
it. Screw Nike, dude. Nike literally runs small and everything. And I love that our baseball program buys everything Nike. So it's like, oh, well, they don't have this size. Well, you're giving me this size, and this size makes me feel like I'm literally like getting stuffed in a sardine can.
There's nothing worse being the fat guy in the too tight shirt or whatever. It's like, because you're like, look, I know I'm fat, but at least some clothes make it not as obvious, like you can wear some, like, it's funny and we'll move on at some point, but like, it's funny, like when you get this fat, there's like 5 shirts that I feel comfortable in, and I just recycle those 5 all week long.
And the AC/DC shirt again.
The worst feeling in the world is when you go and look in your closet and all 5 of those shirts are like in the laundry or something, and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna have to go with like one of my old shirts. That's like when I was skinny. And then you're just like, oh no, this isn't good. Because now you're like, all right, which one of these shirts is going to be like the least lethal for me in my if I have to leave the house, which it's a terrifying feeling. And
Well, then,
I bought, by the way, real quick, I
yeah.
got two Carhartt T-shirts,
Oh,
and it's the greatest thing in the world because one, they make their shirts bigger,
yeah, they do. Yeah.
and so I've got these two. I have a black one and a dark blue one, and it's my favorite shirt on the planet because in that thing I look good. I really do.
Yeah.
I look that shirt makes me
It's got
look
all the
kind of
construction
skinny.
site.
It's like extra big too, and you're like, maybe this is a style. I don't know, but like you're like, I love those shirts. Are like, oh wow, this guy's clearly in really good shape. That shirt's just too big on him because he's lost all this weight, right?
Yeah.
And those Carhartts, they know what they're doing, man. They
Dude,
know what they're doing.
I got a Carhartt. So for our team now, again, our golf team is blessed. We get some donations or whatever.
Yeah.
But our team store, so our vendor gives me and my assistant coach $150 each to spend on the team store.
Nice.
Now, granted, we also have a few extra funds that if we go a little over, who cares?
Right.
So last year, speaking of Carhartt, I ended up getting a sweatshirt, and that sweatshirt's awesome, dude. It's warm, it's awesome, but I didn't realize that, again, like you said, Carhartt runs big.
Big,
So
yeah.
the sweatshirt, I have a picture of it, dude. And literally, like, it is a big ass sweatshirt.
Love it.
I feel like I'm wearing a comforter. It's
I love it, but you probably look skinny in it. They're like, man,
not
like,
really. It's hard to hide this.
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, though, it's comfortable as hell, and I love it. But like, if you
Carhartt needs to sponsor this show. It's like,
Oh,
here's
yeah.
two fat guys that love your clothes because it makes us feel normal.
it's
Carhartts.
one of the piece of clothing in the rotation.
It is. Those two shirts are in my 5.
I-
I've got this shirt. I've got my 2 Carhartts.
Right.
I've got 2 black shirts, of course, that are like a little bit bigger, and then maybe like one other one where I'm like, all right, I feel okay wearing this one, and like that's it. That's all I'm
Yeah.
wearing.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, my closet, I must have. I'm not including the sweatshirts and all that stuff, but literally shirts. I probably have maybe 55 shirts.
Oh, yeah.
and I probably wear 3 of them.
That's because you probably have a lot of. I call them 1-day shirts where
Yep.
I'll be able to wear these again one day.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what they are.
once I lose the weight, I'll be able to fit back
Oh,
in this XL.
Oh, trust me, it was funny. Abby and I was looking at my clothes the other day because we were trying to make some space in the closet, and she was like, "I need you to like put some of these into storage." And I was like, "Okay, I guess." And I was looking through the shirts, and I was like, "Yeah, some of these I don't think it's happening anytime soon." So I was like, "This can probably go in storage."
Yeah.
And by storage I mean I could bury this in the ground and I'll never be able to be fit into it again. But we'll see. I don't know. Again, 15 days in, of course this is all just gonna because the big issue with dieting these days I feel like is like, dude, you take like 1 week off, like let's say like for you, like you just went on vacation, or like, let's say I get sick or something and I don't feel like, eating healthy or exercising. Like you take 1 week off, you screw up everything. Like everything, you gain back everything you lost, and then like you're starting from ground zero again, which is why none of it really matters, and you should just, die. I mean, that's really all you can do. Just eat yourself to death. Like that's you just gotta just live as a fat guy for the rest of our lives.
Like, I swear to God, I probably have probably half my closet is probably shirts that are. I had to have to lose like 100 pounds, to fit those things. Because some of them are from, spring training when I went back in like 2012.
Right.
Stuff like that, like 12 years ago. Like, I don't need those shirts anymore. Now, granted, I did clear it out a little while ago, probably, I don't know, about 6 months ago, whatever. I said, screw this. I went through them. I was like, I started just throwing them all on the bed. Like it was like a vacuum going on the bed. I was like, I just kept throwing them all out because I was like, I need to clean some space out of here. But the go-to now is I have a few shirts that I bought, dude. I bought them my first day of teaching.
Right.
So they're like champion shirts. A champion came out like Champ 9 or whatever the hell.
Right.
And they're just plain shirts or whatever. My favorite 2 are black and gray. And literally, they still fit. I don't know how.
Perfect.
It's crazy. Now, they're probably stretched out, but
Yeah.
they still fit and all that stuff. I ended up going on Amazon and buying like hooded, sleeveless tank top, like sweatshirt things.
Oh, dang.
Now,
Okay.
Now, they're not sweatshirts. They're thinner material.
Right. Okay.
But they have a hood. they have, the drawstrings or whatever, and they're sleeveless.
Right.
So I wear, say the black champion shirt or whatever, and then I wear my gray one. So it's kind of like
Nice.
it kind of has a cool accent or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like I have like those tank tops. Dude, I got a black camo one, I got a black one, I got a gray one, and I got like some other a navy blue one or something like that. And I just like interchange it so it looks like I'm having different outfits. And it's
Smart.
it's beautiful.
It's smart.
Dude, and they're nice too because literally they're light as hell. And they're not. I mean, I feel comfortable in them, which is crazy. I'll have to send them to you.
And I'm telling you, as a fat guy, like just feeling comfortable is the greatest thing in the world because you're just like you spend so much of your day feeling uncomfortable, whether you like feel bloated or like sweaty or you feel like your shirt's too thin or too tight or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. The worst is also like. Or not the worst, but like, dude, the funniest thing is you go to like a game or something and they give out like free T-shirts. They like throw them in the crowd. You catch one of those, it's like you might as well throw it right back because you're like, all those ones are always like adult mediums, and you're like, I haven't worn adult mediums since I was like 12. Like I feel like I haven't worn this size. Like I remember I went to the Pistons game and I definitely caught a shirt and immediately was like, let me find a kid to give this to because I was like, there's no way I'm not fitting in this shirt, buddy, anytime soon.
Yeah. Here you go, pal. You're 7 years old.
And then also that makes me also think of like, dude, one of the worst things now, too of being a fat guy is going to like any sort of event, like a game or a concert these days, man.
Oh yeah,
it's getting rough. It's getting rough. Like I went to Wolf Trap and saw a concert like last month, and like I the whole time when you're a fat guy and it was a sitting type concert. It wasn't like everybody standing up every song. So like you're sitting there and like the whole time I was like kind of like scrunching my elbows in and like leaning forward in my chair because like I had a dude to my left and like my dad to my right, and like my dad's lost a lot of weight, so he's like looks like a normal human now. But like I'm this big guy, so I'm like trying to like twist my body to like not be like pushing up against people, and like it's not comfortable at all. I leave those games or shows and like my back is just killing me because you're just uncomfortable the whole time. It's so bad.
I'm gonna get to that in a second, but just to end this conversation, because again, this is probably gonna be a topic every single episode. So be prepared for that
because we're fat.
Yeah. So until that
until your magic shot kicks in.
Yeah. So I ended up getting I didn't get Ozempic. I got like Zepbound or something like that, which is basically Mounjaro or whatever.
Yeah.
And I did the research, and the better thing about this one is it doesn't like fight diabetes and all that stuff. I don't have diabetes or anything like that.
Right.
But at the same time, it more so helps weight loss or whatever. So anything to make my life easier and not have to go crazy with like starving myself and working out all the time, I'll do it. But at the same time, they just gave it to me. So they said, oh, it might make you nauseous and all that stuff. And my cousin was never that big or anything like that.
Right.
He just, I think his wife took it or something like that. She wasn't huge or anything either, but they just said, screw it, we're going to take it. And they prescribed it to him and they took it. And my cousin lost like 45 pounds in a year. Now he's normal now. Right. But so if he loses any more, he might be a skeleton.
Right.
But
yeah.
At the same time, he's like, yeah, it was awesome and stuff like that. But there's different dosages and all that kind of crap. So they said take it on Friday. So if you feel sick, Friday night you'll sleep through the sickness or whatever, for the most part, nausea or whatever, and then you'll go into the weekend. And if you're still feeling sick or whatever, you don't have to miss work. So they said do Friday, and of course I have my appointment on Wednesday afternoon. And they said my prescription was delayed, and I never got the prescription until now. And I'm like, okay, great. So now I have to wait 4 or 5 days. And my dad's like, "How's the weight loss going?" And I said, "I
haven't even started. Probably gained weight. Just waiting for it."
Yeah, I had cheese fries and beer last night. Obviously not good.
Can you drink on it on the medicine? Like, can you still drink?
So the thing about this office that I went to, they basically, again, I was in and out in an hour. So it was actually pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. But when I went there, they asked me a few questions or whatever. And of course, I think I told you this before through text. The lady literally asked me, she was like, "So would you be like, open to having any medications to aid in this?" And I said, "Yeah, what do you got?" And I wanted to see what she said first, until I kind of like, steered her in the right direction. But anyways, then they sent me to a dietitian. And the dietitian was the one. She gave me like this whole entire plan. She's like, well, this is what you want to shoot for. Here's a 1,500 calorie diet. She's like, with how to maintain your weight, you needed to eat 2,000 calories a day. And I'm like, okay, that's easy.
Yeah,
She
I do
said,
that a
well,
meal.
yeah. She was like, we'll do 1,500 calories and take the shots, and you'll lose some weight pretty quickly. So I was like, okay. So I'm just waiting for Friday. Friday is the day when NCAA comes out, and I'm taking this damn
I'm
shot.
gonna be eating veggie chips while
Yeah,
trying.
but my cousin said that he said, dude, it takes away your appetite.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Like you don't need to eat in the rest of your life. Like he
Yeah.
said it was crazy. So it's a once a week shot, and you have to refrigerate it or whatever. And then basically the dietitian told me like, it's basically I swear to God, I felt like I was seeing Doctor Now, because it was like, here's your high protein, low carb, sugar diet, whatever, all that kind of crap.
Right.
And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, yeah. Like I told you in the text, I said I wanted to tell her I seen the show, but then I didn't want to
Right.
I was a loser. But yeah, so I ended up getting like this whole entire thing where it wasn't a huge. I was only talking to her for like 5 minutes,
Right.
but the main thing was she said like, here are what like for instance, this is what you should eat per day, and you should drink a lot of water, but here's what you should eat per day. Like, oh, you need, because they want me to eat like 60, 70 grams of protein. I was like, that's easy. I can eat steak and meat all day. But anyway, so she said like, well, here's this. And they actually give you like a list of like, if you eat, a banana, you're over the limit for something like that, because it's already too much sugar in a banana or some crap. I don't know.
Right.
So it was just weird. It looked pretty cool, but I was like, whatever. And then the one lady asked me, do I have a food scale? And I said, yeah, I do. And I was like, no, I don't. Food scale.
Just eyeball it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna go overboard, but at the same time, even when I've done dieting and working out in the past, I've been able to withstand going, because the problem is when you overserve yourself and you have too much food. That's the problem. So it's not that I eat bad. It's about how much of the good food that I eat. So it's like, if I'm having like a turkey whatever and something else, and then I eat like a bunch of it, and it's like all of a sudden it's worthless.
Right. Like tonight after this, I'm gonna eat ice cream, and then I'll probably I'll throw some M&Ms in there. Usually that's my move. And then next thing you know, I've got to find the whipped cream somewhere. And then, but yeah, no.
We had extra stuff in there. So Jess already made buff dip, and I had, we'll
get it all in now before Friday.
Yeah. Well, the last 2 days we were going to eat some sausages or whatever, like I don't know how we're going to eat them. But then I also have ribs that I bought from Costco. Ooh, and I also shredded chicken from Costco from Rotisserie. And we'll have to get into Costco next week. But that was, I bought all that stuff. So I'm going to put the ribs and heat them back up in the oven, and then smother some sugar-free barbecue sauce that I bought. Trying to stay a little bit on the good side.
Yeah. But, no, that's I'm going to be interested to hear about this journey. That's because we're both on very different journeys right now. Because like I'm doing it the way that will make me hate myself, by basically starving myself and trying to run as much as I can, and then you get to just take a shot and play NCAA football and just not be hungry.
The best part about it is that my insurance is so good. And that's the one big thing about Fairfax County Public Schools is their insurance is awesome. That literally today when I got the prescription, it said it was $25. Now I told you 75, but that was what they told me before.
Yeah.
But I guess they figured out something else. But they told me it was $25, and on the sheet it said, today with your insurance you saved $1,300.
Yeah.
I was like, holy God.
Yeah, pretty good
Jesus Christ. But we'll see what happens. I will say though, the one bad thing is when they do the body scan of you, you never feel more crap in your life inside. God. Because literally it's a little platform. They tell you to take your shoes off. First of all, I apparently shrunk an inch. I used to be 5'11", now I'm 5'10". I don't know how it's possible.
It's happening to all of us.
I was like, I don't know how it's possible. So then she did my heartbeat, and she's like, wow, your heartbeats, or my blood pressure. And she's like, your blood pressure's through the roof. This other lady doesn't have to do it. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, you're like, look at me.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden they said, stand on here. It takes your weight or whatever.
Yeah.
But then she said, all right, grab those 2 bars. And there's 2 bars on this thing. And you have to hold them like out like this.
Oh no.
And this girl is just sitting right there. and all of a sudden I'm doing it, and she's like, "It's gonna take a little bit." I said, "Oh God." So
Oh,
I'm sitting
no.
here. Not to mention, I'm not nervous, but I'm like, because
Yeah.
first of all, I heard that I might have to take blood. I hate taking blood,
Yeah, that
and I was
sucks.
like, no, thank you. Which I didn't have to, which thank God. But I was so nervous, I was like sweating again.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I can't move because they're taking
Oh,
a scan of
no.
me, and all of a sudden the scan's like, to 20%, 25%. It
Right.
took about a minute and a half. I'm sitting there like this, like
Oh, I would
can't
hate
move.
that.
And then all of a sudden the results come out, and I'm like, oh my God. Like it's just
Oh,
like,
no.
but the good thing is that I did buy a scale from TikTok that goes to my phone and everything like that, which is actually kind of nice, Bluetooth. And it tells me like all my levels and all that kind of crap.
Right.
So that'll be nice. But at the same time, it's that was really embarrassing stepping on that
Dude, that
machine.
like makes me think of like when I go to the chiropractor, they do the X-rays or whatever like
Right.
every couple months, and you have to take your shirt off for that. And
Yeah.
like the girls that like work at the chiropractor are all of course really attractive, and like so like I'm there and they're like, all right, and they're all really nice and friendly, and they're like, all right, take your shirt off for the X-ray, and I'm like, are you sure you want me to do that? And like it's just because then they give you like a almost like a hospital gown type thing that you wear like
your
over,
ass is out.
and those things never fit, right? Like those things are always like so tight all over the place, and then you're like, I can't even tie this thing in the back, and like, dude, that was when I had my surgery months back, like that was one of the things where I was like, oh God, no, like they gave me like this hospital gown, and I'm like my fat's like poking out all over the place. I'm like, and then with that one too, since they were operating on like my dick, I was like, I'm just gonna be the fat guy on the table, and they're all just gonna be like looking at my body and my penis, and just, I was like, are they gonna like make fun of it? I mean, I don't know. There was all the things I thought about going into that.
You go to the weirdest chiropractor, man. Because I don't
Yeah.
I literally paid $20. They just scan my
Yeah,
card.
yours
when I
sounds great.
leave.
They give you a little massage and everything. Mine, they
Yeah.
like, first of all, mine is now, it's always incredibly crowded. Every time I walk in,
Right.
there's no seat left in the waiting room. So I'm always just standing there. And the only place to stand is by the coffee machine. So I spend half the time being like, oh, sorry, excuse me. And somebody like goes over to get themselves some coffee. And then I'm standing in front of the front door. And then like people are trying to leave. And I'm just a big fat
Right.
guy. And then it's all these old people that all just want to have conversations with every single person that's in their eye line. They want to like suddenly start asking you about your life. And you're like, I just want to get cracked and go home. I don't want to stay here. And then they're like, take your shirt off. And they're like, you're like, really, in front of everybody? It's just
I'm telling you, man, you got to
quite
make a
place.
switch. You got to make a switch.
I think I
because
do. I've been
I'm
thinking
telling you,
about
man.
that.
Because
So
again,
like,
it's literally for my insurance. I mean, with my insurance, because Abby has insurance. Do you use Abby's insurance?
no, I use mine for my health. I use hers for my vision or
Okay.
dental. I use hers for dental.
Well,
Yeah.
because that's the thing is literally, I got the deal where it's. I mean, for my insurance, it's like $20 a visit. I'm in and out of there in probably less than a half an hour. Okay,
I know this all sounds great.
again, they do the massage. They say where do you want to focus on? And I say my neck and my shoulders, and
They
do
just
like
do the gun for me. They don't do the massage. They like take the gun that's like
yeah.
on your back, and you're
My
just
place
like,
has
oh.
legit masseuse or masseurs.
Yeah, well,
like,
there's the guy. There's the guy there that I got a couple free massages as part of my package, and like it's just this guy talking to me about like the Lions O-line while he's like rubbing his oil all over my chest, and it's like I remember like literally like I think because like he probably felt a little awkward, and then I clearly felt awkward. Like we just talked football the whole time because we're like we're not gay. I mean, like it's not gay that you're massaging me right now. We're gonna talk football, so now we're not gay. And like literally, that's all we talked about. We talked about like football and basketball for like the 45 minutes that he's literally like rubbing up my nipples. You know? Like, it was something else, man.
That place is for the black market or something like that. That thing is from
No,
underground.
you're right though. I gotta get out of there because like
You gotta get out of there, man.
it's getting too now. Look, we scaled back now to once a month, and I have because I was doing like every couple weeks. Now I think I'm doing once a month. But I think I agree. I think I'm gonna. And then every time they'll show me like numbers and like images, and they'll be like,
God.
"See, like you're getting you're getting better." And I'm like, I don't feel better. Like I still my back hurts every day. So,
Yeah.
but they're like, "See, you went from 326 to 155," and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
What with these numbers.
And it's and then they'll be like, here's like how your spine is supposed to look, and I'm like, I don't think my spine's supposed to look like that.
You know what I would love? I would love to go to 326 to 155 in the weight category. But that's just, that's the one number
I haven't touched sub 200 since I was probably 6 years old.
Dude,
I mean,
I was sub 200 a long time ago.
I remember being like 200 pounds as like a sixth grader. You know, like I definitely, but I was tall, so it was like, all right, you're just a big boy,
right?
And then, but yeah, no, I would be happy. So here's the problem though. Now that you and I are both like gaining more weight than we ever have in our lives, the number now to get down to like where you'd feel good about being is now so large. It seems insurmountable.
Yeah.
Like I would have to like right now on my, I'll pull it up right now. I'm not going to say the numbers because I don't want to kill myself on air. But right now it says I have 57 and a half pounds to go to reach my goal. 57 and a half pounds. Like that's literally like my daughter doesn't weigh 57 pounds and she's 3 years old. Like,
you gotta lose her.
Like,
oh my God.
It says
so funny.
It says 57.4 pounds to go, and this goal is in the bag. It's like, yeah, I'll be in the bag, 10 feet under.
I'm gonna be in a coffin.
Yeah, because I was looking at these numbers because I keep track of everything on like my not my Fitness Pal, but with my watch on Fitbit or whatever, and like I was looking back because I weigh myself a lot, and I was like, man, I haven't been at a weight that I've been like, yeah, this is not too bad since I'll tell you, I'm scrolling, I'm still scrolling. The last time I weighed in at a number where I was like, I feel pretty good right now was January 2021.
Me too. So, I think it was around there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I literally put in a goal weight in my app, and it's like you can if you lose this much per week, you can reach that goal in a year. And I was like, a year?
Yeah. Like, it's like by 2035, I think you'll be able to get there. You know,
like, Jesus Christ, like, God, please help me.
It'd be funny if you entered in your goal weight, and the app would just be like, yeah, that's not
happening.
Yeah. Sounds like a waste of both of our time.
You got to lose 15 pounds a month for that. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God, there's gonna be a lot of clips on TikTok for this.
I hate it. We're just so fat. I just hate being fat. But
so speaking of the devil with the seats, okay,
right,
like you were talking about. So on to the Cancun trip. Now I'm gonna try to keep it somewhat.
I don't know if we can do the Cancun trip this time. I don't know. I mean, I know Mike Cerrone, and there is no way brevity is not in your vocabulary.
That's true.
So, like, if we say, "Hey, Mike, like, we only got 10 minutes for you to talk about Cancun," I mean, we're talking 45 minutes at the very least. So I almost want to save Cancun and give it its own episode. Because this was a catch-up episode. We riffed on us being so fat for so long that we just kind of ran out of time. So I do think that we may have to, because I think it will align nicely because that would also be like after your first shot and everything too, so you can kind of like see how you feel there. But yeah, I think we may have to wait another week. For
I think about 30 minutes is the
it'll be about half a show.
Yeah. So that's I mean I got some. The thing about it is when I talk about trips, like I talked about.
Yeah, give us a teaser. Let's give us like a little teaser.
Not fitting in.
Well, okay.
Wait, what's a teaser? What kind of teaser do you want?
Well, no, like I'm saying, like, give me something, like, give me like a short snippet of your journey, like, give me like a highlight. So, like, not fitting in. So, does that mean? Do you mean like among Mexican people, like, or do you mean like?
I do mean that.
Okay, because you went to this resort with like family, right?
No, it was just me and Jess.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought this was like a big family trip.
Just me and her.
Oh, okay. So that's a little different.
Let's put it this way. It's Cancun seems like when you think about it, you're like, oh, okay, a lot of tourists and stuff like that. People that are there are people that just live in Mexico. It's nuts. I'm telling you right now, like I've never, I've. So
was it an all-inclusive
resort?
Yes. Okay.
So, yeah. Well, I'll have to get into that later. Next week. Yeah. But the thing about it is this is a teaser. Is that I put it this way. my hell, not really hell, but my my disagreement in high school was Spanish class.
Sure.
I got good grades except for Spanish.
Right.
Spanish, I just didn't care. I'm like, why I don't need to speak Spanish. So literally, this was like 5 days of being in Spanish class,
Oh
besides the
no.
time we were in the room talking to each other.
Right.
Because literally, we walk out of the room and someone looks at you and starts speaking Spanish to you. And I'm just like I just nod and walk away. Like I don't know what to say. Like
Oh
I
no.
know
You picked the
decent.
wrong resort then, because like I'm pretty sure a lot of those resorts are used to speaking English, so you picked the wrong one, I
Well,
think.
I mean, it's like seriously, and I mean, I'm not trying to talk about race and stuff like that, but
No, I mean we're
there,
literally talking about Mexican people. You went to Mexico. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is.
there was like 10 white people there. We
Okay.
saw maybe
Yeah.
10, 20 white people in the entire resort.
Right, right.
And then there's Mexican people over here and Puerto Ricans over here,
Right.
whatever. And they're all just like, speaking Spanish like a one big happy family. And then
You're
they
there, the
see
fat guy in your Hawaiian
this
shirt.
guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, you
This
guys serve
guy.
Bud Light? Is
Yeah.
that
Oh my god. And I'm like, it's just I told you I just couldn't stand all the Spanish talk. Now, granted, I'm in a Spanish speaking country. That's how it is.
Right, right,
Okay?
right.
If I'm going to France, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of French.
Yeah,
Okay?
possibly. Yeah.
But it's like
The odds are high.
yeah. So it's like I just literally, dude, it was I don't know. It was just at one point it was just overload because
Yeah.
I just couldn't stop hearing someone try to speak to me in Spanish, not guessing this guy doesn't know Spanish and hasn't talked Spanish since 2008. Like I didn't know any of this stuff, and it
And
was
I already have a hard time like understanding people who speak like with accents. Like I'm
yeah.
the worst at that. I go to the barber and like the Korean ladies there, like there's no shot. Like they could tell me, "Do you want us to take it all off?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, that sounds good."
Yeah.
like I don't know how to answer any of their questions. They try to ask about the weather or like
Yep.
what do you do for work? And I'm always like, "Yeah, I do eat with a fork." Like, yeah, I don't know, I don't know what you're asking me, but it's like I'm interested here because my main curiosities. I'll tell
Yeah.
you my
I
main
want to know your
curiosities.
questions.
The things I want to know are one, of course, the food. Like, got to get some reviews on the food.
Okay.
Two, in my limited experience with resorts, all inclusive resorts, because I went on like one company trip where I was at a resort for like 24 hours, so like pretty limited. But my experience was that like the all inclusive drinks are it's nice, but if you get anything with liquor, it's extremely watered down. So like you end up like not really getting, at least in my experience, like you'd have to order like 10 of them to like feel anything.
Okay.
And then like or what you sometimes do is like if you give the bartender there like a $20 bill, which is like $1 million in pesos, like they'll hook you up the rest of the time or whatever. But like yeah, I want to know about the drinks. I want to know about the food. I definitely want to know about like how fat you might have felt on vacation.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like especially at a resort, there's probably a lot of good-looking couples walking around. Big, strong Puerto Rican men walking around. Yeah, I want to hear everything.
I
I
literally
also
could answer all these in a second.
yeah, well, let's save it. I want to hear about it, but we will get to that next time. Now let's get into a little bit of let me find the music before we go. Let's do a little trivia time. Of course, Daily Dozen. We like to knock these out here.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, they've got an Olympics category. That might be rough. So, of course, 9 categories, 9 questions. Let's see how your boys fare today.
Alrighty. So, game 358. There has been 32,000 players today. So let's see, like you said, how we fare today.
All right.
NFL.
What we got here?
NFL. Undrafted out of Fresno State, Billy Volek started 10 games for this AFC team from 2000 to 2006 before backing up Phillip Rivers in San Diego for part of 6 seasons. Billy Volek. Who the hell is
I haven't heard that name in my entire life.
I've never heard that guy.
They didn't even give us a division. They said AFC. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
In 2000
Undrafted out of Fresno State.
2006.
Billy Volek. I mean, I
See,
was
here's
8
the
years
thing.
old. I don't,
started 10 games. So you think about it, starting 10 games.
Yeah.
That means he could have been a backup that went in for a starter.
Yeah.
Okay. So back then, I'm thinking the Raiders, because you had Rich Gannon back in those days.
Yeah.
Old, could have been hurt, all that kind of stuff. And then obviously, I mean, what says undrafted?
Oh yeah, it was only 10 games in 6 seasons. So like he started 10 games total
Yeah.
for like 6 years. So yeah, I mean like like you said, you got to think of the teams that like had their guy, and like the Raiders definitely had their guy.
Who else?
I'm freaking.
We're just gonna go with the Raiders because we
Yeah,
have,
let's
I
do
have
it.
no idea. All right, that
All right.
we knew that was gonna happen. All right, the National Basketball Association.
Oh well, there we go.
Rasheed Wallace
Pistons
played in the
are off.
NBA Finals with 2 Eastern Conference teams. The Pistons. Who
The
else?
Celtics.
Was it the Celtics or the Blazers?
It was Celtics. Blazers was before.
Okay,
Good
job. 2 American gymnasts have won all-around gold at both the Olympics and World Championships. Simone Biles and the male gymnast who won gold at Athens.
A male gymnast? We have to name a male gymnast?
Hey, what was the twin? What was that twin guy? You remember the twins, the redheads?
I thought you said twink. No, I don't remember the redhead boys gymnast team. Wasn't really watching for that. I was busy watching Shawn Johnson and her giant dumper. I don't know. I don't know the twin redhead boys.
I'm telling you, it's probably one of them. Don't know what their name is.
Okay, well, you
it's
could give me 100 million guesses. I'll never get it. Cars.
Oh man! Introduced in 2004, this Hyundai model is a compact crossover SUV named after a city in Arizona. That would be the Tucson. Yeah.
Easy.
Oh my God, Shawn
Child's
Johnson. I'll never forget that. Oh, that's great.
All
All right, celebrity mashup. Is it gonna work?
What are you supposed to do
work?
here?
Why does it never work? All right, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Chain restaurants. In 2015, this fast food chain released the French toaster breakfast sandwich, but disappointed fans by removing the item shortly after.
The French toaster.
The one company that I always think about is Burger King, because they always come out with like a weird.
Toast. Well, and Burger King has French toast sticks,
Right.
and they're one of the few that do that.
Croissant witch and all that kind of stuff.
Right. It's not a bad impulse there, because they're a French toast type place. So, yeah, I out of all the places, I feel like Burger King is a good guess, an educated guess there.
Educated.
I'll use your deductive reasoning there.
Great.
And it's wrong. This is a disaster.
Oh, we're warming back up to the trivia. Meryl Streep shocked many when she joined the cast of season 2 of this HBO series in 2019. This is your
Is it?
wheelhouse. Today sucks.
Meryl Streep 2019 HBO series. I don't think she was fighting dragons.
No,
Game of
I don't
Thrones.
think she wasn't.
I don't. Meryl Streep to HBO series. Skip it. I don't know.
right.
I don't know.
Movies. Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson played a couple
Okay.
going through a heated divorce.
Marriage
in
Story.
2019.
I believe this is
Drama,
Marriage Story.
Marriage.
Or like A Marriage Story or something like that.
Marriage Story. There it is.
Okay, yeah, that's that.
Good, nice. Finishing 5th on the end of the year Billboard Hot 100 of 2002, this alternative rock band is most known for their song "Wherever You Will Go."
Oh, isn't that like wherever you will go, in up high and down low.
Oh yeah, hold on, now you sing it.
Wherever you will go.
With up high
Is that not?
and low,
Is that not like Creed or something? Or
wherever you will go.
is that not?
I'm thinking. Hold on.
It's got to be Creed, right?
I don't think so.
You don't think it's Creed? Well, who else kind of sings like this?
All right, we'll go with Creed. I don't think it is, but we'll go with it.
Way up high.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking A, man.
All right,
This is going as well as Your Ozempic.
All right. So
Oh no.
we didn't get the mashup because it didn't work. But we'll have to.
Oh look, the Olympics. Only 7% of people got that question right.
Really? Hold on a
Yeah,
second.
that was the
Okay.
percentage.
All right. This one, Tennessee Titans.
Okay,
No
go
one
F
cares.
yourself.
No one cares about that guy. All right. Paul Ham. I told you.
Okay, I still don't know who that is, so
Dude,
it doesn't matter to me.
Look him up. Look him up.
I know John Ham. I don't know Paul Ham.
All right.
We didn't even get a shot at this
Yeah, we
one.
didn't get a shot at that one. Chain restaurants. Sonic. Okay.
Okay, we don't even really eat Sonic, so
Big Little Lies.
never seen it. Never seen it.
Me either. And music. Okay.
I tell myself Big Little Lies every day when I look in the mirror.
All right.
The Calling. Okay.
I don't know who that band is.
That's like a one-hit wonder type band.
But I know
think.
exactly what
Yeah.
I know exactly what band you're talking about though.
We suck.
That was a
We're-
terrible round.
Yeah, we're rusty. But I mean, throwing in an Olympics question, and it's not even like
Hold on.
about
I gotta look
Olympics
up
that we care about.
Paul Ham. I bet he's
Paul Ham.
$20 he's redhead.
I mean, I'm not denying that he might have red hair. I'm saying like he could literally be
Yeah, I
standing in
knew
front
it.
of me right now.
Look at this guy. Hold on.
I just pulled him up on Google. I'm looking at him. Paul Ham's remarkable comeback at Athens 2004. Okay, congratulations. I bet he's selling car insurance now. So
Yep, he has a twin brother named Morgan.
yeah, well,
Dude, I knew it. I'm on top of things.
are you though? I mean,
Not really.
you that happy about knowing these male gymnast bodies and faces really well?
Well, I did. I was watching Sean Johnson too. Who was the other girl? Nasia Lukin.
Oh yeah, smoke. And then who was the? And then there was that like, was it Maroney?
Oh, that was years later though. That was like
Yeah.
4 years later or something. Yeah, Michaela Maroney. She had that viral look.
Yeah, get sized.
Yeah, we get a little sized here.
Oh man. Meanwhile, you're just wandering around the resort. Can anybody help me?
Well,
Gringo.
It was like, oh my god, there was a funny thing. I'll have to save it, but oh my gosh, like they started realizing, I think, that I was like just not speaking to them.
Yeah, they probably called you the white whale in Spanish. They're like,
Yeah,
you see that
seriously.
guy? We're not going to be able to help him.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, oh my, it was a. Again, I'm gonna need you to obviously have some questions, but
Yeah.
I also need you to rate it 1 to 10. Again, like I said in the text, 1 being I will never go here in my life.
Right.
10 being I'm going on the next plane there.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, pretty safe that take the under on whatever number you think it's going to be, because I'm not leaving my house.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we will hear all about this trip. I'm excited. Next time on the show, as Mike plunges the shot into his you do you put it into your side or your leg?
Either your stomach, your leg, or under your arm. Which I do not want to do that.
Yeah. Stomach's probably easy. I mean, it's the biggest target, so that should be
Just throw it at me.
can't really miss. All right, well, we will. Oh yeah, I got to pull up the song here. We will be back, and
Hopefully, no technical difficulties next week. Because hopefully, I get a new laptop.
Hopefully, we'll see. We'll talk to our boy.
We're back on a schedule here, boy. We're back on a schedule.
Yeah, we'll talk to our boy John Z later this year. We'll see what he knows
still
about.
alive?
I
haven't seen any of his TikToks lately.
No, that's true. He might. He's in hibernation until the bear season starts again. And he can spread some more rumors that are entirely false. All right, we'll see you next time on the lunch line. See ya.